You know, you're with them every step of the way. You're learning their story. You're getting them out of their car, maybe. You're getting their kids into their own bedrooms, or
an
you know,
awesome school district.
Yes, you're hearing those like amazing stories, and I feel like that's the most rewarding part about being a leasing agent.
Yeah.
Because you're actually being able to do something very helpful to them, and it just makes their life easier. And I love making people's lives easier.
I think the dependability, being someone that others can count on, just being a solid helper. I think whether it's coworkers or people walking in or residents, you just want to carry yourself in a way where this is what I bring to the table as far as getting stuff done. I'm confident and secure in that, and nothing's going to shake me. Even if something just doesn't go my way, I'm confident that I just handled it the best way that I knew how to.
Whenever they come in or they come back and they're like, thank you so much, I really appreciate you taking the time to come by and check on my unit, or calling, or when you call back for a work order, and they say that we took care of everything. Also, if they're prospects and they come in and they're just touring, and right before they leave, they say, this is the best experience that I've had, I hope to come back, and I'm still looking, but I love how I felt when I came in, and when I'm leaving, I feel comfortable throughout the whole experience.
Yeah.
They just have to feel happy, comfortable, and that we have done everything in the best way that we could.
Love it.
In our onboarding, we talk early on, one of our values being Christ, treat others like you want to be treated. And so everybody's reminded that out the gate too.
Yeah.
And so as they're in the process of training, we make sure they understand that day one, make sure we're treating people like we want to be. I remind our assistants, I teach that class locally quite a bit, and they always laugh when I say this, but I'm like, somebody that didn't pay rent, they're not a criminal.
Right.
They hit a hard time, or they hit something. So just remember that. It's easy to say, put yourself in their shoes, but put yourself in their shoes. We don't know what they are, so keep that at the forefront at all times.
Well, and what are you thinking?
I was just going to say, everyone has a story.
Yes.
And if we don't get on their level to understand their story, then we're not going to be able to help them, and they're not going to be open to us.
And sometimes we actually find ways, hey, this is what you can do because, my mother was in a similar situation. This is what advice I gave to her, and it worked out. Or I've seen this before, and this is what another resident has done.
Yeah.
We try and teach our teams to avoid landmines that maybe we've stepped on in the past, and pave the way to where, no landmine's going to be avoided. You're going to hit one eventually.
Yeah.
But that's the goal. That's the dream, is to pave a way.
And the reward that you feel by winning those residents over is almost unbeatable to me. Mr. Grimes, we have a resident from a property that we sold it 8 years ago.
Yep.
To this day, he will track some of us down, which that entire team still works for us. We're all scattered out, 6 of us. He will track us down to bring us lunch like twice a year.
That's awesome.
He was a resident, and
Yeah.
we made a difference in his life. We worked with him through a
remembers that,
difficult
yeah.
situation, and 8 years later, he's still coming to visit
Lifelong
us.
friend.
Yeah.
I think really just hearing them out of whatever their issue is, just really hearing them, engaging eye contact with them, writing notes, just really listening to them.
Yeah.
May not be listening to them on the inside, but
But you're on stage at
yes,
that moment.
yeah, you're on stage at the moment. So no, I think that's why I probably am the go-to person at my property, because I do listen, and I really just try to help in the best way that I can.
I get only like high escalations these days, and every escalation I get, I always joke when I call the managers back, I'm like, I didn't have to say anything. They're like, how'd you smooth it over? I'm like, I literally said nothing. I just listened to them. And after they got everything off their chest, they're like, well, thanks for listening to me. What's it gonna be? And I'm like, well, they were right. And they're like, okay, thank you, bye. They just wanted to be heard. So slow down and listen, and it goes a long way.
You're gonna know probably more intimate details about the residents, and they're trusting you with that information. So be respectful of it. They're giving you their trust. You want to make sure that you keep that trust and that open communication with the residents.
Yeah, absolutely. That's on point. Because trust and rapport and building that relationship, both professional and personal, ish, is really important to them and us, honestly. Because then they feel they can be honest to you, and you're never questioning what's going on, why this isn't paid or this isn't done. So.
Well, that's interesting. Let's talk about that. What does it look like day in and day out? And Lisa, jump in here. Like, what does it look like to build trust day in and day out with your residents?
I think it's accountability and follow through. I think say what you're going to do and follow through with that. And also just, making sure that you come with a place of empathy and care. I think ultimately if your residents feel like you care about them, guess what? They're going to buy into that. They're going to love it. They're going to sit there and be like, I don't want to move. And then you got long life friends, right? You have those residents come back with cookies and you're like, oh, here comes Terry. But yeah, definitely follow through with what you say and keep that line of communication, again, that's the word that we've been discussing, open.
Yeah.
Trust.
What about y'all? What have you learned there with just kind of continuing to build that trust? What does that look like for you?
I mean, really, it's just talking to them, even if they have dogs, like we love dogs over at Montrose. Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. Yes. I won't lie, I sit on the floor with them sometimes, but like little things like that will build your trust with them. Like knowing the dog's name and the resident's name, and just having them sit there and have a conversation about how their day is going. Little things really matter when it comes to that. Yeah. And they want to come down and see you every day and say hi, and that's just really special.
For me, in just my unique situation, I live at the property that I am in the face of when you walk in the door. So I think there's a little bit more like added pressure with not being or not having that separation between work and home, where it's just like, these are the people that I take care of, or the people that I get moved in. They're also my neighbors. Yeah. And so I have to, I cannot be off ever. Like I'm like,
no. That's an interesting dynamic for you.
Yeah. I'm waiting for someone to knock on my door with a problem, but it hasn't happened yet. But yeah, we're ready. We're ready to do whatever. I mean, it's just,
you have to go with it.
Once again, we've been talking about communication and then the trust. I feel like once you establish those things, residents are more likely to try to help you achieve your goals too. They don't try to hinder you from your job, but they would like for you to just meet them halfway in the middle. So once you establish that, it gets so easier to balance the two of them. It's like, I understand what you're going through. So let's find a way where you're going to be comfortable with the situation, and then I can still proceed on the business end to get this accomplished as well. Yeah. And they most likely will comply with it.